Good afternoon. It's been a while since I've been on here. It is Sunday the 6th of November 2022. The last time I did a reading, I believe it was 40 days and 40 nights, and I remember saying that I thought that the UK Prime Minister might be out. Well, she did make about 45 days, and we've now got a new Prime Minister, so watch this space. I have a sneaky feeling that there might be some shenanigans going on with this new Prime Minister that will make his position also untenable. It's not even a sneaky feeling. There's a lot going on. We're in a period of adjustment, but it feels as though how can I put it? It feels as though this next full moon, which is also a full eclipse, is going to see us learning things we didn't know before. Some things are going to be quite shocking. Some of us won't be surprised. I think many of us won't be surprised about anything now with what's going on. But it's a feeling of everything completely collapsing, which is going to take more than 40 days and 40 nights, but I believe by the 25th of November we might have more clarity. Right, there is a full moon, and it is also an eclipse on the 8th, which is on Tuesday. So I want this to be a full moon reading, but I'm also pushed today to look at the USA. And that is because it is the midterm elections on the same day. And my feeling is I've got this, well, I know there are going to be some shocks. Information is going to start coming out. There is going to be some very underhand tactics coming to light. I can't tell you whether the Democrats are going to keep their position or whether the Republicans are going to sweep the board. But my feeling is that the Republicans are going to do very well. So this full moon is almost like a more pronounced full moon, because full moons are about culminations, endings, signalling new beginnings, but this one is heavy. This one's a big one. I'm feeling shocks. There's going to be some shocks. So I'm just going to pull a few cards for the full moon. Okay. Right then, so the first card we've got out is the Seven of Cups. Right. This feels like newness to me, like someone coming through someone rising to stardom, if you like, that's pushing through from the background. So something is going to be highlighted this full moon. For America, I believe this is someone who is going to push through, who's in the background, but not totally in the background, but will become a brighter star. Someone who might not be necessarily very well known, but someone is a rising star. That's the words I wanted to say. Pushing through to the foreground. That's interesting. That's very interesting, because straight away I heard Ron DeSantis. Now, if you're from another country and don't know who Ron DeSantis is, I believe, don't quote me on it, I believe he's the governor of Florida, and he's been doing some really excellent things, but he's the governor of Florida. So I'm not sure whether he's going to be nominated or pushed forward or become the new rising star of the Republican Party in America. But I heard Ron DeSantis then. So somebody like him or somebody like him is going to be pushed forward and into the spotlight. It feels like all change. What politically, what it looks like, even in our own personal lives, what our personal lives look like right now will be all change. And the stars always remind me of hope, of healing. So I believe there's some voice of hope. There is hope coming through, a great white hope. That's another thing I've just heard, the great white hope. So if there is another politician from either party who's known as the great white hope, I don't know. But who is, if you're from the US, you might know who that is. But there's definitely somebody pushing through from the ranks, from the back, and coming through to the forward, to the foreground, and will be highlighted. This is a new rising star or risen star that will sparkle brighter in the coming weeks and months. In our personal lives, something or someone, it could be something that we're doing for a living, might be in the background. You might have had to put something to one side for a time, but something important is pushing through into the foreground. It might be something that you've left. It might be something that you've forgotten about. It could be a new thing, because this full moon is a major ending, but a signal of a major beginning. But it's all about face. It's all change. It's all going to be different. It's almost like we're going to do a complete 360. We're not doing a 180. We're doing a 360. It's like we're doing a full circle. We're doing a full circle, but when we get back to the beginning again, it's going to be a different world. A different world. This is going to take time. It's not going to be overnight, but we are going to see the beginnings of this different world coming through. And the second card, we have the Chariot. Now, usually the Chariot is a sort of two sphinxes, a black and a white sphinx and a chariot master. This one, someone's in control, someone is driving us forward, but this person is driving a snail. So this forward movement is going to be slow progress. It's not action stations, it's not full belt. We're not galloping. This is going to be slow and steady. So this rising star, this risen or rising star, is going to steadily, slowly turn arse about face and go back in the opposite direction. It's like we're going to go back in time, like we're going to reset the clock to a former point in time before we got really chaotic. There might be something in your life that you've moved on at a fast enough pace. Things have, got on top of you. Life's been really chaotic. It's also been quite worrying over this night. It's sort of nearly 3 years now. It's almost like we're going to reset the clock and we're going to go back to the beginning. It's almost like this is a chance to relive life. It's like we're going back in time, although we're not going back in time, it's almost like we're going back to the beginning. We're going to pick up what we've left. We're going to redo the mistakes we've made. This is very much about righting mistakes we've made, or picking up the things that we've forgotten about from the time before the pandemic. We're going to have to go back slowly. We're going to have to go back over everything and check that we haven't, anything that we've missed, we're going to have to address, make right, cross off, and then go back to the next thing that we've missed that need to make right. It feels like things being made right again. And the last card we've got is the High Priestess. This is about your intuition. It's also about hiding things. It's also about secrecy. Now, I'm not surprised about that, because there's something in the what's happening with the planets, with Scorpio. It's about secrecy. It's almost as if it's not time to, we can't quite come out and sing like a canary at top voice just yet. When there's some things we need to keep to ourselves. If there's anything that you're thinking of starting, don't be telling everyone yet. Keep it to yourself. Some things you need to keep to yourself for the time being. On a grander scale, on a larger scale, on a political scale, I think secrets have been kept, but these secrets will be coming to light. And that's a new moon. So I'm wondering whether by the new moon, and I don't know when it will be, because if the full moon's the 8th of November, it's usually 2 weeks after that. So say around about it could be around about the 25th of November. Let me have a look at my diary. I don't know when the new moon is. I'm just checking. I have a really, really nice diary. It's from Magic of Eye, and it's an astrological diary. So everything, where the planets are on every single day of the year this year, it tells me. So when's the new moon? Excuse me a minute. I didn't really, but I've got to get this out of the way just in case. Oh my God, the new moon is in Scorpio secrets on the 25th of November. Something big's going to happen. That last video I did, I said 40 days and 40 nights. And at the time I did that video, that took us to the 25th of November. It's not, if you've got something to say, but you're holding it back because it's not time, don't start letting it out until the 25th of November. It feels like big news around the 25th of November. Like scandal. It feels like scandal, secrecy. This is a really powerful full moon. I'm going to take another one. So I'm going to specifically ask about the midterms. So what's happening around the midterms and afterwards to do with secrecy, please? Right, so we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is about nostalgia. When I said going back, we're going back 360. We're going to go and address all the things that have happened in the all the things that have happened and put it right. This is going back to the things that have happened and putting it right. This is on a bigger scale. For the US, I think the US is going to reverse its trajectory very slowly, turn about face, and take a really, really microscopic look at what's been happening politically socially and economically in the US for the last 3 years is going back to the good old days. So it's this, I think, whoever, the midterms is just about, I believe, how popular the present government is doing. But I believe that if the opposite party gains more seats, I don't know if that's the right terminology for American politics, then it feels like the government in power will be forced to reverse some decisions and make family the focal point, going back to the good old days, where family was of the utmost importance. And you know, I get that. That could be with education. It could be with just with families in general. And the next one we've got is the Two of Cups. Twos are always about decisions. These are Siamese twins. So they're not Siamese twins. They're not Siamese twins, sorry, that one is in front of the other. But it feels like they stuck. It's about a decision. It's a head over heart decision. It's a head over heart decision. Or actually, no, it's a heart over head decision. What do you want to see in your life? The head over heart decision isn't going to cut it right now because we can't predict what's going on. Life is totally different to anything that any of us, you know, I suppose anybody in living memory can remember. The whole world is in chaos, much more so than ever before. And it feels like whatever the decision, whether that's your decision on who you vote for, whatever the decision this person makes, this person is going to make decisions. This is not now, this is in the future. This rising star that's going to come through to the foreground, already known, but is going to become a much brighter star, let me say that, is going to start making heart decisions. And what I mean by that is not necessarily the cutthroat decisions. It's more what's needed for community, for peace, for quelling the chaos, for sorting out what's been going on, going back to the old days, nostalgia, taking us back to the time when people's attitudes were different. It's about adjusting attitudes. This is about adjustment of attitude, and we're in adjustment period. So we'll be doing heart over head decisions with this. So in your personal life, there's something that you're going to revisit. It might be something to do with childhood. It might have something to do with earlier times in your life when you had stability, where you felt secure, where you felt loved and nurtured. It's about going back over that time and pinpointing what it was about that time that made you feel nurtured. This rising person or risen person who's going to become brighter is about nurture. This person's about nurture. There's a very genuine person. I don't know who it is. Could be Ron DeSantis. I keep hearing Ron DeSantis. I'm not so sure. But it's somebody who's very articulate, very able to stand their ground, a truth teller, not a secret keeper. But some secrets are going to come to light in the next few weeks, and it is going to be pretty shocking.
I've also been pushed to do another video today. I don't know whether I'm going to do it. I don't know if I don't know if I'm going to do it. I've been being pushed for the last few days to do another reading, but it's for one person in particular. And it's a man called Tom MacDonald, who is a Canadian who lives in America, rap artist, is an independent, I don't know if it's rap or hip hop artist. His music is, and I don't like rap music, but his music is incredibly truthful. And I don't know why I feel like I needed to bring that up in this video. I don't know why. Unless Tom MacDonald's going to become a political person. I doubt it. But there's something about Tom MacDonald. I feel that he needs to be kept safe. But if you don't know who he is, check him out. Tom MacDonald. And he had a new song that came out on Friday, just gone, which would be the 4th of November, and it's called Fighter, and it's a really uplifting song. It's really uplifting, and it tells, I think, just about everybody's story. I think just about, it's almost like he's singing to you. It's very uplifting, it's very inspirational. Go and check it out. So I'm going to take a wisdom of the oracle. Oh, by the way, and I don't think I mentioned, Tarot of Mystical Mermaids is the one that I've just used for the tarot reading, and I'm going to take a wisdom of the oracle card as a backup. So, what can you tell us about the 8th of November 2022? Either a full moon message or an American US midterms message, or both, please. Okay, right, I'm hearing that there is going to be some news, possibly not on the 8th. It could be just before, it could be just after. Something to do with President Biden and his election. I believe that was 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? But anyway, when Joe Biden was elected, we're going to be hearing something about that election that will be quite shocking. Right, let's have a wisdom of the oracle. Right, okay, so it's not just Joe Biden. There might be some, you might be finding out about some underhand business that's been going on. You also could be finding out a secret, and it's not a good secret. For some reason, I'm thinking it's not a good secret. So we've got flexible, but it was reversed. Number 19. That's a 22. It's about choice. Let me think. 19. So I need to read the protection message for that. So, flexible. It was upside down. I'm going to show it you in the upright. When you or someone else becomes too rigid, you lose the access to growth and untapped potential and find yourself in an us versus them scenario. Loosen up, open your mind and heart, and see if a more flexible approach feels better. Rigidity will set you up for a fight where there are only losers and no winners. Could you find a way to bring about a result that is mutually beneficial? Meet in the middle. Spirit makes a great mediator. Okay, well that means something.
So, right, okay. Yeah. So, what that means, what's that? Go on. Okay. So this information that is going to come to light, that is so far still buried, there will be people, and that might be you, who will refuse to see it as truth. Right. Tensions are going to be frayed. Tensions are going to be frayed. You need to stay in your heart space, not your head space, and refrain from argument. Don't be doing any knee-jerk reactions to information received, especially if it's information you didn't want to hear. And especially if it is information that goes contrary to all the things that you have been saying. Wow. In other words, are your opinions from research, or are your opinions that have been handed down to you and you have accepted them without question? See, right now is a time to question everything, even your own opinions, even your own moral judgments, everything. Now is a time to question everything. And don't be afraid to go take an about face turn on what you've been saying, what you believe, what you've always believed, because you might find that many people will be faced with this choice to acknowledge when you've got things a little bit skewed, but we can't move on unless we can acknowledge when we've got things skewed. It's about going back 360, a slow walk back over time, and addressing all the things that might not have been too good, and being big enough and daft enough and brave enough to say, do you know what, I hold my hand up to that. That was wrong. Even if it's just an argument that you've had with a family member and you haven't spoken for a while, and you're adamant that it's not your fault and it's all their fault, take another look at that, because you might well have some responsibility for that, which you are being called to revise, take another look at, and accept some responsibility. Because we need people now to take responsibility, hold the hand up. Well, yeah. Right, shall I do a postcard? Where are my postcards? Right, I'm going to do a postcard from Spirit, and then I'm going to leave it there, and I will seek my guidance on whether Tom MacDonald, I'm going to do a reading for Tom MacDonald. I do feel as though his safety might be in jeopardy, but not for long. So let's see how we get on. So let's have a postcard from Spirit. Thank you. So, if you, I realised that I had a new subscriber as well when I came onto YouTube to open my channel. Thank you for that. If you do like my videos, can you please just like them, share them, or just pass my YouTube
channel onto other people. It helps grow the channel, so it helps me. It doesn't cost you anything, and it also helps me reach more people. Now, not all my readings are tarot readings about politics. Sometimes they are messages that could reach more people, especially people struggling. And I'm thinking, in particular, over the last few months, the one I did about child loss. Almost every woman out there who's ever been pregnant has experienced miscarriage or child loss. And it's much more common than we think. And I would like to reach more people with things like that. So if you could just please do that, I would be grateful. Right, okay, we just unlocked it down. So I still need my ice testing. So, right, dearest you. A rigid tree branch breaks under strong winds, yet flexible seaweed survives powerful ocean swells. Wow, that postcard, that wisdom of the oracle was talking about being rigid and not bending. This is also talking about being rigid and not bending and not being malleable enough or open-minded enough to accept that sometimes your opinions can change. It doesn't make you wrong. It makes you open-minded. It makes you open to change. Right now, we gently remind you that being flexible is a good choice when faced with life's challenges. Surrender your fixed ideas to Spirit, who knows what is in your highest good and can deliver to you what you need in the appropriate form. In this moment, rather than fighting or being too sure of your way working out, be a little looser and allow for another outcome. Compromise can be the best way forward if you are to learn new ways of doing and seeing. This is all about seeing things differently, doing things differently, saying things differently. It's all about being able to bend. Stay aware, curious and teachable. So, I'll give you an example. All my life, well, up until maybe about 6 years ago, I was a Labour supporter. Now, Labour, if you're not a UK citizen, Labour is like, I suppose the closest thing to Labour would be a Democrat. I was a Labour supporter because my father was a Labour supporter. His father was a Labour supporter. My mother was a Labour supporter. Everybody who was working class supported Labour. And the only people that I knew that voted Conservative, which I suppose is the Republican-ish equivalent, they were people who had businesses. Now, about 6 years ago, I started really looking into who are these people that are representing me in Parliament. What are their policies? What does that mean for the collective? What is the thing that's affecting most people in this country? And about 6 years ago, I changed my vote. And if I could have gone and spoken to my younger self and said, by the time you're 50 years old, you're going to vote Conservative, my 20-odd-year-old self would have been kicking off something chronic. We get there. Sometimes you have to be able to just be a little bit, I had fixed ideas about everything. I was so opinionated. And now I like to hear both sides of the story. I like to do my research. I don't blindly follow what my friends do or my colleagues do at work. I would like to say I'm secure in myself to be able to have my own opinion and it be the opposite of everyone I know and not be worried about what anybody thinks of me. And I think that's a huge deal, that we need to put that to one side. What other people think of you is not important. It's what you think of you that matters the most. You don't have to scream and bawl at anybody. You don't have to fight and argue. You don't have to call anybody names. We have different opinions and
we have, you know, we've got different circumstances, and that's okay. And this is all about being able to bend a little. Now, I don't agree with everything that the Conservatives do. In fact, I'm quite angry with them. We've just had 4 in the last 3 years. So I'm actually quite angry with them. And I'm also even more angry with them because I will probably not vote for them again in the next election. But I can't vote for the Labour Party because they are appalling. They're worse. So we have a 2-party system and the choice is abominable. So I'm actually quite annoyed with both sides. And I can see the flaws, the huge flaws in both sides. But we're quite tribal as people. We pick a side and then we fight to the death, regardless of whether or not you totally agree with what's going on. So it's about being a little bit flexible, being able to see someone else's point of view and not having an absolute meltdown over it. Compromise can be the best way forward if you are to learn new ways of doing and seeing. Stay aware, curious and teachable. Take life on life's terms. Your purpose may push you in a direction not on your map. Let it be. Be so flexible that no storm can uproot you. In the end, you will still be rooted in the world, in abundance, and you will indeed experience the beauty that is yours. So, your purpose may be, where are we? Your purpose may push you in a direction not on your map. Be prepared. Something shocking is going to come through, information, whatever, or something shocking is going to happen, which is going to make you reverse everything you think you know about yourself. And that, my friends, is the full moon. It's going to be a very powerful one. It is an ending. It's the ending of something, and quite powerful signal of a quite powerful new beginning. It's going to feel like birthing pains. It's going to feel like wading through treacle. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to be slow and steady progress, revisiting past times and going back to the times when times were good. Not necessarily economically, but where times were good, so that in our heart of hearts we had community, we had love, we had respect, we had communion with one another, and that's the direction of travel. That's the direction of travel. This is about self-mastery. And we're all going to learn a few lessons about that in the coming few months and years. Anyway, I hope that helped. Have a lovely full moon. Write all the shit down that you want to clear and go outside and burn it. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Ta-ra.